From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, January 13th. Have the coat on hand for the entire day. It is cold, near normal now. We've been used to being above average, but not anymore. It's also going to be breezy. Some isolated to scattered snow chances will also continue for much of the daytime hours before all of that moves out by sunset. Any accumulation would be a light dusting on mainly grassy surfaces. Highs are going to make it into the mid-30s. Breaking news overnight, an early morning shooting in Indianapolis leaves a man dead. It happened on Winsong Drive in an apartment complex near 21st and Mithofer. Police haven't released the name of the victim or said what led up to the shooting. We will work to get answers and bring you what we find out on air and online at wishtv.com. Police say a man and woman are stable after a drive-by shooting on the southeast side. The scene is a home on Dublin Lane in a neighborhood just south of Thompson Road and 5 Points Road. Officers say they found both victims inside a vehicle. No word yet on names or whether police know how it happened. They do say the woman was in critical condition. And our IT mate is learning more about the death of a beloved football coach and peacekeeper. Richard Hamilton was shot and killed after a road rage incident on I-65 just north of County Line Road Wednesday night. Greenwood police say Hamilton was found in a white van around 6:30 that evening. Police are looking for a silver or gray sedan with dark tinted windows. Hamilton became known for helping local kids find summer work. State police do need your help to figure out who killed Hamilton. ISP is interviewing witnesses and examining evidence found at the scene. There have been no arrests so far. Happening today, Delphi double murder suspect Richard Allen is due at Carroll County Courthouse for a 10 a.m. hearing. The judge will consider a number of issues. Allen's lawyers will attempt to convince the judge in this case to make the prosecutor hand over a trove of evidence. The request came in the form of a 7-page filing by Allen's defense team, the first step in the discovery phase in this case. Allen's lawyers are looking for the names of confidential informants, all phone records, witness statements, whether there was any electronic surveillance, and recordings as they lay out their plan in Allen's defense. Other things Allen's defense team will lay out before the judge include their request to fund investigators for Allen's defense. They've also requested a change of venue. Allen's attorneys would like the trial to be moved at least 150 miles away from Delphi. It's also expected the judge will discuss a gag order request for this case. Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McClelland filed a request to prohibit counsel, law enforcement officials, court personnel, the coroner, and family members from discussing the case with media. Richard Allen will appear in court. The woman accused of driving drunk on the frozen downtown canal is also scheduled to appear in court today. Online court records show Bianca Gleason was charged yesterday with 3 counts of operating a vehicle while intoxicated. Witnesses told police that the car was headed north on the ice, then tried to turn around before breaking through and plunging into the water. Happened Christmas night. There were 4 people ice skating on the canal, watched it happen. One jumped in to rescue Gleason. This morning's hearing is set for 9:30. A middle school student is under arrest after being accused of having a gun in his backpack. According to school officials, it happened on Wednesday at Franklin Central Junior High School. They say the gun never left the student's backpack. The school shared a statement with News 8 following the arrest. It says in part, "We believe everyone plays a vital role in maintaining a safe school environment, and we are proud of the student who spoke up. We encourage parents and guardians to speak with their children about school safety and reiterate the importance of reporting any unsafe situation or behavior to a staff member or school resource officer. If you see something, say something. It's our greatest asset in school safety." A national conservative group is working to stop Mitch Daniels' campaign for U.S. Senate before it starts. Club for Growth Action is set to air television ads in Indiana campaigning against Daniels. In the 60-second ad, the group calls him wrong for Senate and his brand of republicanism out of date. Daniels retired as president of Purdue University at the end of last year and has been considering a run to replace Senator Mike Braun. He has not officially announced a campaign. Congressman Andre Carson says UFO reports are rising, at least in part because people are more comfortable reporting them. The Indiana Democrat co-chaired a committee on the issue. Carson says that this report shows a key goal of our public hearing was achieved to help destigmatize UAP reporting, unidentified aerial phenomenons, by bringing this issue into the light and increasing public awareness. UAP reports have increased, ensuring the U.S. government has all the information on important issues of national security. According to the report, more than 350 UFOs have been spotted since March of 2021. It says more than 160 sightings have been identified as balloons or balloon entities, and a handful more have been identified as drones, birds, airborne debris, or weather events. The report says more than 170 sightings are unexplained. Today, in the trial of 5 members of the Proud Boys, the jury hears from the first witnesses. Federal prosecutors are trying to prove the group helped coordinate the violence during the January 6th riots. Jurors heard opening statements yesterday. Prosecutors showed dozens of messages, social media posts, and video clips. They claimed the defendants knew former President Trump's hopes for a second term were quickly fading and planned the attack and recruited others to stop the transfer of power to Joe Biden. The defense says there is no evidence of a plotted attack. A special counsel is set to investigate the classified documents found at President Biden's home and office. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the appointment of former U.S. Attorney Robert Hur yesterday. As we've reported, the White House says the first documents were found in Washington in a former office of the president when he was serving as vice president. It says the second documents were found in his personal library at his home in Delaware. Garland says a special counsel is necessary due to the extraordinary circumstances. The Biden administration says it is cooperating fully and completely with the Justice Department. According to the Justice Department, Biden's attorneys properly notified federal officials about the discoveries, but it says they did not do that for the American public. The FAA says mistakes led to the computer meltdown that halted all takeoffs across the country Wednesday. The administration says it appears the failure likely happened because personnel failed to follow proper procedures with the Notice to Air Missions or NOTAM database. A former FAA administrator says it happened as a contractor was working on the main system and switched to a backup system that had errors too. The problem led to a 90-minute halt of departures across all the nation's airports. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is promising a thorough investigation to find out what went wrong and prevent it from happening again. Many are calling for the administration to speed up the timeline for technological upgrades to the system. FAA leaders say updates are common, but a full overhaul of the NOTAM system is currently slated to be several years away. Wednesday's nationwide stop of air traffic was the first since the 9/11 terrorist attacks. And today, crews will search for survivors and victims of a massive storm system that spawned tornadoes across the South. Authorities say at least 7 people died. 6 of the deaths happened in one county just outside of Montgomery, Alabama. One tornado cut a 20-mile path, damaging or destroying roughly 40 homes. One person died when a tree fell on a vehicle in Jackson, Georgia, about an hour southeast of Atlanta. There is video out of Atlanta, near Atlanta, that shows damage to a warehouse. Hundreds of bricks are scattered around. Schools in at least 6 Georgia counties have canceled classes for the day. One twister damaged buildings and tossed cars in the streets of a historic downtown Selma. Selma's mayor says no one there has died, though several people are seriously injured. First responders hope to assess damage and get an aerial view of the city this morning. Around 50,000 homes and businesses remain without power across Alabama and Georgia. Singer Lisa Marie Presley has died from a heart attack. Her mother, Priscilla, confirmed the death of her and Elvis Presley's only child yesterday. Presley was rushed to the hospital early yesterday before passing. She had most recently been seen in public Tuesday at the Golden Globe Awards to support the Elvis film about her late father. Presley was 54 years old. Prosecutors have formally charged the man accused of assassinating Japan's former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe with murder. Police arrested the suspect immediately after the attack. Prosecutors say the results of the suspect's mental evaluation do show he is fit to stand trial. Investigators say he shot Abe with a homemade gun as Abe made a campaign speech in July. The trial likely will not start for another several months. To the Pacers, the team looks to get back in the win column at home tonight without its star point guard. After suffering a knee injury Wednesday, the team announced Tyrese Halliburton will be out of action for at least 2 weeks. The team will now turn to the combination of veteran TJ McConnell and Andrew Nembhard to step up in his absence. Tonight's game against the Hawks tips off at 7. As far as the Coles, the team is off to a fast start in interviewing candidates for the head coaching job. As we've reported, team owner Jim Irsay and the organization have completed interviews with special teams coordinator Bubba Ventrone and Broncos defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero. And just last night, Irsay tweeted the team also completed an interview with Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. According to our Colts insider Zach Kiefer, the Colts have been focusing on him for the past few days. To business headlines, experts at IU and Purdue are weighing in on what would or would not send the country into a recession in 2023. Inflation is trending down. The government says consumer prices dropped in December for the first time since 2020. We did talk to an IU Kelley School of Business professor, Philip Powell, about the direction of the overall economy in light of the new report. He says it is still possible to see the economy slowly grow or shrink. News 8 also spoke to an agriculture expert at Purdue. He says the number of Americans who can afford to pay for food has remained steady, which helped the economy weather months of high inflation. Tax season officially starts in 10 days with hopes of a smoother filing process. The IRS announced it will start accepting 2022 returns January 23rd. The agency is expecting to process 168 million individual tax returns this year. The acting IRS commissioner says much work remains after several difficult years, but the agency has hired thousands of new workers and is using billions of dollars in new funding for improvements. The filing deadline is April 18th because the normal deadline falls on a weekend, plus a local holiday in Washington, D.C. And finally, HBO Max is finally raising its prices. One on the more expensive ends for streaming services already, $15.99. HBO says it will increase the subscription service to $16.99, increased by $1 per month here very soon. So if you like White Lotus, if you liked the Game of Thrones and all those good series, it's going to cost you $1 more a month. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.